And joining us now to break this down even further is Professor Stephen Caliendo with North Central College. Professor, thanks for joining us. Always good to see you. Let's start with where we are, because the celebrations have already started with news a ceasefire deal has been reached. But we understand the Israeli Prime Minister himself is saying this isn't over yet and that it's being called a provisional deal. So what exactly does this mean?
I would say we're in better shape on this than we were maybe just earlier this morning, but there's no question that there's a lot left to be determined, and there's going to be a number of weeks and months until this all plays out. And that's one of the reasons, of course, as you know, Sylvia, that this had to be a joint effort between the Biden administration and the incoming Trump administration.
Okay, and I want to get into that in just a minute, but I want to ask you first. Israel has said over and over again and that it would fight until it defeated Hamas and all the hostages were released. Have they defeated Hamas?
Hamas has been dramatically weakened. They're not completely eliminated. I think the bigger question is related to what you're asking me, Sylvia, is what happens after there is a ceasefire? Who takes control in Gaza? If it's Hamas again, it's going to be problematic because the redevelopment part is going to be difficult, not just for Israelis, but for any companies who want to come in and help. They're not going to invest money if Hamas is still in control. If it's not Hamas, though, who is it? I mean, one of the things that worries me most about the tentativeness of this agreement, as optimistic as it is that it doesn't describe what's going to happen after it's all over. Are the Israelis going to occupy?
Right.
Under what conditions? So there's a lot to be worked out that's going to have to happen in the next administration.
Very tenuous. Okay, so the push for this ceasefire, as you mentioned, really did involve an effort between the Biden and Trump teams. I want to know, what do you suppose is going on behind the scenes? President-elect Trump has already released a statement saying he's responsible for making this happen. President Biden held a news conference today, and as he was turning around to leave, a reporter yelled out to him, did this happen because of President Trump? He looked at that reporter and he said, is this a joke? And I'm curious, Inauguration Day is Monday. How important is this to the Biden administration to make sure these hostages are released while he is still in office before the big exchange occurs on Monday? What do you think's going on?
Great point, Sylvia. Yes, I know the Biden administration was very much wanting to, before President Biden left office, to make sure there was some deal. As you know, they've been working on this for months, in earnest for at least 9 months, the deal that was proposed, but really for 15 or 16 months since October 7, 2023. The Biden administration has wanted to intervene to try to bring an end to hostilities. So it was important, that symbolism. On the other hand, President Trump promised, one of his campaign promises was to end this conflict before he was inaugurated. He hasn't done that, of course. This is not an end to the conflict, but he did. He came closer to making good on that campaign promise. President Trump took sole credit for it. In President Biden's press conference, he said it was my administration, but he did note, even before that, the reporter asked the question that way, he did note that part of President Trump's transition team was involved and that it couldn't have happened without them.
Okay, now we wait and see. As we said, it's very still. At this point, it's not over yet, and we'll have to wait and see how this progresses. Stephen Caliendo, we always appreciate you coming on and helping us to break these things down. Good to see you as well.